Shankaram Sivashankaram. In this video, we look at the short history of Tiruvampavai, the importance of Margari, and the interpretations and learnings this great poem can give us. A short history now. Manikkavasagar goes to Tiruvannamalai during the Margari time, which is roughly between the 14th of December and the 13th of January in the English calendar. And what does he see? He sees the town practicing Pavai Nonbu. And he sings these 20 great verses on Lord Shiva. So what is Pavai Nonbu? This ritual is normally performed by women who are going to get married. And it involves them getting up early in the morning. So by early, it means the time between 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. That is before sunrise, which is normally termed as the Brahma Muhurtam. And this Brahma Muhurtam is considered the most suitable for spiritual practices. So these girls, they gather other girls in the neighborhood. They go to the river or to the temple tank. They take a holy dip, go to the temple, and they offer their prayers. The other rules that they normally observe or are supposed to be observed as part of this ritual are to avoid indulging in the senses, that is the sensual pleasures, to avoid getting involved in any worldly matters, and to lead a very simple life, keeping the mind totally focused on the Lord. And why do they do this? As I said before, they do this to get very good husbands. So now, why is Tiruvampavai sung during the Margari month? What is so special about it? So let us look at a religious/a scientific approach to it. So we start with quoting something from the Bhagavad Gita. Brihat Sama Tatha Samnam Gayatri Chandasam Aham Masanam Margashirsho Aham Rutunam Kusumakaraha. So Lord Krishna says, Brihat Sama Tatha Samnam. So out of the Sama Veda, Samnam, I am Brihat Sama, what is called Brihat Sama. Gayatri Chandasam Aham. Chanda means Veda. So out of all the Vedas, I am Gayatri Devi herself. Masanam, out of the Masa, that is out of the months, I am Margashirsha or Mrigashirsha in Sanskrit, which is translated to Margari in Tamil. Aham, that is Margashirsha Aham, Ritunam Kusumakaraha. So out of all the seasons, I am that beautiful flower-bearing spring. Now let's quote something else that Lord Krishna has said in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sri Bhagavanuvacha, that is Lord Krishna says, Aham Brahma cha Sharvascha Jagata Karanam Param Atmeshwara Upadhrishta Swayam Dhrik Avisheshanaha. So Aham Brahma, I am Brahma, cha Sharvascha, I am Lord Shiva, cha Jagata Karanam Param, and we three or me alone is that primordial reason or the reason for this material manifestation. Jagata Karanam, that's why we have the reason for this world's manifestation. Atmeshwara, I am that supreme soul. Upadrishta, and the witness to that. Swayam, me. Dhrik Avisheshanaha, there is no difference between that Brahma, that Lord Shiva and me. So what I am trying to say from this is Lord Krishna says that I am that Mrigashirsha, I am that Margari. Out of all the months, I am Margari. So that is why it is very Vishesha, that is why it is very special. And I am Shiva himself. So when I am Shiva himself, Lord Shiva only is saying this, that I am Margari. So sing for me during this Margari. So that's what we are trying to get to. Another reason for singing Tiruvampavai during this time is what is called the Brahma Muhurtam. But this is a Brahma Muhurtam for the Devas in the Devaloka. So one day in Devaloka is translated to be 6 months of a human calendar year. The first 6 months, which is between 21st of January to 20th of June, which is called Uttarayan. So that is one day of the god, and that is 12 hours. And the night time is the 21st of June to 20th of January in the human calendar year. That is again the 6 months, and it's called Dakshinayana. That is again 12 hours of the god. So 12 hours between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. So now if you do the math, 6 months is equal to 12 hours. So each month of a human calendar year is equal to 2 hours of the god. So if you go to the Dakshinayana part of it, that is the night part of the god, then you come to Mrigashirsha, or the Margari month, being between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., which is nothing but the Brahma Muhurtam, which is what we said when the girls actually get up and they go for this spiritual activity. So what we're trying to say here is that the Devas in the Devaloka, they are closer to the earth because they roam around doing spiritual activities during this time. So that is why when we also can sing Tiruvampavai during this time, it is as good as it is the closest proximity to them, and they can easily take our prayers forward. So now let us look at the scientific approach to why you sing Tiruvampavai during the Margari month. So during Margari, it is said that the oxygen molecules are more because it is the winter season. So in the air, there's normally 21% oxygen and 78% nitrogen, and what we breathe is the oxygen from the air. So when air is hot, the gas molecules within the air, they expand and they get scattered. So that's why in the summer months we say that the oxygen is there but it is scattered. In the cold, so when there is cold air, the cold air will have the same proportion of oxygen as in the hot air, but what happens is the molecules will be closer together. So the concentration of oxygen is more in the cold weather. So that is why we say in Margari, when you go out in the cold early in the morning, when it is slightly colder than the rest of the day, you get more of that oxygen because the concentration of those oxygen molecules are more. Now let us look at the structure of Tiruvampavai. So in the first 6 to 7 stanzas, the group of friends tries to wake up the sleeping friend by either cajoling her, by telling her how she has been in the past, always thinking of Shiva. So they say words like Attan, Anandan, Amudan, Endra Alluri Tittikku Pesuvai. So they say this friend used to always call Shiva by beautiful names. Attan, my father. Anandan, my source of enjoyment. Amudan, my sweet nectar. That is how you used to talk so beautifully and so sweetly about Lord Shiva. Then they also used to say, Pasam Paranjotikku Enbai. That is, your love used to be only for that Jodi. But then they also used to scold her. So how they scold? They say, Innam Pulardindro. Don't you think it is dawn yet? Are you still sleeping? So this is how the first 6 to 7 stanzas are, with the group of friends trying to tell her to get up. They also praise Lord Shiva in those stanzas. But from stanza 8 to 20, the focus is totally shifted to completely praising Lord Shiva. And in stanzas 11 to 20, additionally, that includes a lot about dancing, rejoicing in his love, and bathing in different ponds of water, thinking about the Lord in different temples. So it is nothing but Kshetradnam and Neeradadal. So Kshetradnam is going to different temples, and Neeradadal is bathing in the different rivers, the Punya Nadis, or the holy rivers, or the tanks. And each stanza from 1 to 20, it ends with the words Elor Empavai, Elor Empavai. So what does that mean? It's got two meanings. So one is, it could be, oh my lady, that is Empavai. Pavai is lady. Or it could mean Embavai. Emberdu is to rise. So why don't you wake up? Please wake up. Elor is also to rise. So rise from your sleep. It could be interpreted in that way as well. Let us look at a striking similarity of Tiruvampavai to the Ayyappan season. The Ayyappan season starts in the Tamil month of Krithigai, which is November-December time of the English calendar, and it spans the entire Margari month and ends on the first day of the Thai month. So this is all the Tamil months. So Thai is 14th of January. So basically, just like the women are performing Pavai Nonbu, here in the Ayyappan season, the men are doing something very similar. So you can still call it Pavai Nonbu because all the Atmas in this world are female, with that Paramporul, that heavenly light or that divine light being the only male. So every Ayyappan Swami group has got one leader, and that is the Guru Swami. And he takes them into this journey. So the Guru Swami can be compared to the group of friends waking up this sleeping girl. And he collects all the people or wakes them up from their slumber, you can say, and they prepare for this journey to Sabarimala. So what do? They sing songs. So in Tiruvampavai also the girls are singing songs, so singing praise of Lord Shiva. Here in the Ayyappan season, they sing praises of Lord Ayyappa. They bathe in the Pamba river or any other rivers on the way. Here also in Tiruvampavai, the girls are talking about Neeradudal, which is bathing in the holy rivers or the holy tanks. They do Kshetradnam, visiting a number of temples in the Ayyappan season. And here also in Tiruvampavai, they're talking about Annamalayar, they're talking about Thillai Natarajar. So they're talking about different temples again. And finally, on the 14th of Jan, what happens? All the Ayyappan Guru Swamis, they go and see the Jodi that is shown from Kantamalai, which is the mountain next to Sabarimalai. So that is nothing but looking at Ayyappan in his Jodi Swarupa. So, which is the spiritual significance is, they are singing all these songs, they are leading an austere life or leading a simple life. Their focus is totally on Lord Ayyappa, and then finally they merge into that Parama Jodi. So this is similar to Tiruvampavai when it starts with Adiyum Andamum Illa Arum Perum Jodiyai Yam Pada. So the girls are saying Adiyum, the one who is the ancient, and Andamum Illa, he is not the end, he is endless. Iram, he is boundaryless. Arum Perum Jodiyai, that big Jodi we are singing. So here they are saying we are singing the Jodi and finally we are merging in the Jodi. So now let us go into the interpretations and learnings from Tiruvampavai. So there are many interpretations ranging from elementary to the most abstract, and we see these here. So the first one is the physical aspect, which is actually the ritual called Pavai Nonbu. So as we have explained it before, so the girls go for this ritual. They have a friend who normally joins them, but today that friend has probably slept off and they're trying to wake this girl up. So normally when one is asleep, they won't immediately get up and come, right? They're quite reluctant, they're lethargic. So they convince these friends, they convince that sleeping girl by saying how she has been before. They do this to get, so why do they do this whole Pavai Nonbu concept as we have explained before? They do this to get good husbands or to pray for something materialistic. So this is the materialistic approach of doing Pavai Nonbu and probably singing Tiruvampavai. So let us look at the same Pavai Nonbu with a spiritual angle. So we call it the spiritual approach of Pavai Nonbu. So normally anyone would start this Pavai Nonbu as a ritual. So I call that belief. That is, say for materialistic pleasure, you are asking for something. So you have some belief in that divine presence and you are doing something just for some materialism. So as we keep doing this ritual, say year on year or maybe day as on day, for 30 days you are doing this whole ritual, we dwell deeper and deeper because we start singing Tiruvampavai every day, we start dwelling into that Tiruvampavai. The belief turns to what is called conviction. So that is the firm belief. That is, now you are going from materialism to more into spiritualism. So Manikkavasagar instills this faith in us by always praising the Lord in Tiruvampavai. So the more you sing it, the greater the love towards the ultimate. And slowly and steadily, I would say, we start to understand that our Atma or that soul is the Pavai, that girl, and he, that Lord Shiva, is the only male. So this is what is called Nayagi Bhavam. Nayagi is girl. So thinking that we are the woman and he is the only male. The Paramatma is the only male. And when we start loving him like a woman does to a male, then we progress towards realization. Realizing that the he, that is Lord Shiva, whom we are loving, is within us only. The seeker who started with the Pavai Nonbu has now become the sought, because he or she has realized that that Paramajyoti who is outside is also inside within us. So this is why we say Manikkavasagar takes us through a journey from belief to conviction to realization, those three stages through Tiruvampavai. Now he instills in us faith by using stalwarts in love. So big names he uses, like Lord Vishnu. He says, Ariyan Anbudaimai Amarum Ibbaro. Your love, isn't it similar to Lord Vishnu, Ariyan, the one who carries the discus weapon, the chakra, or you can say the one who is in that Ari, that galactic sea. Then he also says, Senganavan Pal, Disai Mugan Pal. Senganavan Pal is Lord Vishnu, the one with the red-eyed. Disai Mugan Pal, the one who's got one head for every direction, that is Lord Brahma. Devargal Pals and the Devatas, Yengum Iladador Inbam Nam Paladaga. That means, what they have not got, we have got that pleasure by getting Lord Shiva. So that is how he tries and instills faith in us, and he moves us from belief to conviction to realization. He also uses certain tools like connecting the 5 elements within us to the 5 elements outside. Now how does he do that? How does Manikavasagar do this? So you know that as part of Pavai Nonbu, the girls or we, anyone, we would get up early in the morning and bathe in the temple tanks. So that is what Neeradidal, that is also there in Tiruvampavai. They are talking from stanza 11 to stanza 20, they talk only about Neeradidal. Connecting the, so that is nothing but connecting the water within us to the water outside. So like they say things like Neeradel or Empavai, Pumpunal Painda Adel or Empavai. So this is nothing but Neeradidal or bathing. Then because we are going out, we breathe fresh oxygen. We also do pranayama exercises, etc. And we do some yoga and all that because we have got up early in the morning. So we are connecting that Vayu element, the air element inside us, to the air outside. Then what do? We go to the temple, connecting our earth with the idol of the temple. So the idol is nothing but the man, the earth element. So we are also made of man, we are also made of earth. We are connecting our earth to that earth element. Then what? We go to the temple and close our eyes. Or maybe while singing, while going towards the temple itself, we are singing and thinking about the Lord. That is nothing but connecting the sky within us to the Akasha outside. Then the last, they do lot of yagams in the morning, early in the morning, during that Brahma Muhurtam time in the temple. So because we are going to the temple during that time, we are connecting our fire element to that fire element. So this is how he is also using these tools to connect the 5 elements to the inside within us to the 5 elements outside. So now let's look at another approach or another interpretation of Tiruvampavai, which I call the parent-child approach. So parent tries to wake up a sleeping child by what? He won't just go and shake the child violently. He will sweet talk the child. So like in Tiruvampavai they say Mane. Mane means oh dear. A deer as in adore a deer. So that deer, he is calling the child a deer. Oh dear, please get up. Then he says Ulnittila Nagayai. Ul is Uli. Uli is full of light. Nittila is like a pearl. And Nagayai, the one who's got a smile which is like a pearl and lustrous pearl. So this is just a way of cajoling the child, trying to wake up. You say, right, oh Mutte, oh Manikame, please get up. You say things like that. So it's just cajoling the child. Then another verse they say, Muttenne Vennagayai. Same thing, same meaning. Again, a pearl-like smile. But the child, what does the child do? The child is not going to get up. Obviously, you're waking up the child early in the morning. It's never going to get up. So what does the child say? Keeps saying he wants to sleep. And he gives excuses. He says, Vannakili Moriyar Ellarum Vandaro. That is those girls who talk like as sweet as parrots, have they come? So basically he's asking, have the others come? You normally would, when you wake up a child, he will always say, right, have my other friends come, has someone else come, then I will wake up. So he's giving excuses. Then he says, Pattudayiris and Padaidir Pangudayir. So he's telling his parent, you are all old devotees of Lord Shiva, you will easily go, or you are adults, you will easily get up and go. See, I am a new devotee, I am young, how do you expect me to get up? So things like that. So you can relate it to a parent-child approach. But then the parent becomes kind of stern in the voice. Says, Innam pularthindro. It is, isn't it dawn? Can't you get up? The parent is telling the child. Then the parent is saying, Ippodar amalikke nesamum vaitanayo. You always had love for Lord Shiva, but are you having love now for your bed? Can't you get up? So the parent is also trying to remind the child how good he or she was, and compares her present behavior with his or her previous behavior. So something like this, the parent says, Munvanda edir எழுந்து என் அத்தன் ஆனந்தன் அமுதன் என்ற அள்ளூரி தித்திக்கு பேசுவாய். So the parent is saying that you would normally come before, and you would come and wake us up and tell Lord Shiva as, oh my father, oh my sweet nectar, and you would say things like this so sweetly, but now you're sleeping. So you see, the parent is trying to remind the child how he or she was. Or the parent would also say, பாசம் பரஞ்சோதிக்கு என்பாய் இராப்பகல் நாம் பேசும் போது எப்போதே. So whenever we used to talk, you used to always have that love for Lord Shiva. Now why are you sleeping? So it's like a parent telling the child. So now let's go to much more spiritual approaches. So one approach which is a very nice way of interpreting Tiruvampavai is a realized soul, which is a Mahan. You can say even Manikavasakar is a realized soul, uplifting another soul or trying to uplift another soul. So this is what all the Mahans have been doing all this while from time immemorial. So Mahans like Kanchi Mahaperiyar or Paramacharya, Siddhayogi Sri Sivashankar Baba or Koti Swami, or even Vallal Ramalinga Adigalar, they've all worked tirelessly to try and uplift each soul. So one method Mahans adopt is to tell the devotees how they themselves have been in their search for God and teach their experiences to the disciples. So the disciple tries to fall into the trap of Maya, which is nothing but the sleeping girl. So Maya can be compared to the sleeping. But the Mahan tries to take him or her out, that is the devotee out of that web of Maya. So what is that Mahan doing? Trying to wake up the devotees, just like the friends are trying to wake up this sleeping girl and asking them to sing the great praises of Lord Shiva. So the Mahans also say one more thing. They say that they have sung the praises of Lord Shiva and connected their 5 elements within to the 5 outside and attained self-realization. So in Tiruvampavai there is a verse saying, Uivargal uyum vagayellam uyindolindom. That means just like others have got self-realization, we have also got that realization. Eyyamal kapai. So now please protect us from this diminishing. That means we should always be in that spiritually realized state. So another very beautiful approach is the Krishna-Arjuna approach, or what I call the Bhagavad Gita approach. So Krishna tells Arjuna while narrating Bhagavad Gita, I know who I am. I also know who you are. But you seem to have forgotten who you are. So it is the Paramatma Jivatma conversation, you can say. This Tiruvampavai. So it is like the realized soul, that is the Paramatma, telling the Jivatma that you had done all these good deeds in your previous birth. So this is how you used to talk about Lord Shiva. Pasam Paranjodikku enbai. See, you always had that love for Lord Shiva. And now why are you sleeping? And you used to always say, used to do this, Munvanda edir எழுந்து என் அத்தன் ஆனந்தன் அமுதன் என்ற அள்ளூரி தித்திக்கு பேசுவாய். So this is how you got this birth. I mean, because you have done so many good deeds or good karmas that you used to get up early and used to sing the praises of Lord Shiva, used to call him my sweet nectar, etc. And that is because of those good credits that you have attained this good birth. So now why are you sleeping? Get up, wake up, absolve your karmas by doing more Kshetradnam, which is what is said in Tiruvampavai. Bathing in Punya Nadis, again Neeradidal, between stanzas 11 and 20, the girls are talking only about Neeradidal, that is holy rivers, bathing the holy rivers, and singing the glory of the Lord. And then the realized soul is saying, then you come and merge into me. So this is very similar to the Ayyappan approach as well. So on Jan 14th, they would go and merge with that Parama Jyoti. So that's why I call this approach the Krishna Arjuna approach or the Bhagavad Gita approach. The final approach or the final interpretation, the spiritual interpretation, I would call is the duel or the fight between the conscience and you. So in this Kali Yuga, what is our main enemy? Our main enemy is not outside, but it is someone within us. It is our mind, you can say. The mind, as Adi Shankara says, is a monkey. Manas Kapim. Kapim means monkey in Sanskrit. It keeps trying to trick us into doing what it thinks. So mostly by not thinking about whether whatever it is thinking is ethical or not, or whether whatever is thinking is on the righteous path or not. So to explain it in Tiruvampavai terms, it is sleeping. The conscience, however, which is our inner voice, you can call it that God, tries to convince the mind to stay on that righteous path. Just like the Pavai girls trying to wake up this sleeping girl. The conscience keeps reminding the mind of how it needs to wake up from its slumber and sing the name of Lord Shiva and do all the good things to stay on the righteous path. The mind, however, tries to make excuses like that sleeping girl. So this is also another abstract approach in which you can interpret Tiruvampavai. So such is the greatness of Tiruvampavai. Shankaram, Siva Shankar.